Hi everyone. I'm going to do a read aloud and think aloud of this textbook from CK to 12. You just learned a little bit about the immune system by investigating a video and thinking about how your body responds to different types of illnesses and injuries. And now we're going to read a little bit more about how systems in our body are organized. And this section is called the human body. It's one section in this CK to 12 online textbook for middle school. Do cells work together? Notice that the word cells is a link, and you can click that link for more information on cells if you want to review the work that you did on cells previously. Cells, like these nerve cells, do not work in isolation. So these are nerve cells in the picture. To send orders from your brain to your legs, for example, signals pass through many nerve cells. These cells work together to perform a similar function. Just as muscle cells work together, bone cells and many other cells do as well. A group of similar cells that work together is known as a tissue. So you were learning about B cells and T cells, different cells of the immune system that work together. When cells work together, they also form a tissue. The next section is called Organization of Your Body, Cells, Tissues, and Organs. Cells are grouped together to carry out specific functions. A group of cells that work together form a tissue. Your body has 4 main types of tissues, as do the bodies of other animals. Again, another link for more information. These tissues make up all structures and contents of your body. An example of each type is pictured in the figure below. Let's take a look at this picture. When you're reading a science text, you really want to pay attention to the pictures. They help explain a lot of information. So we have muscle, skeletal tissue, pointing to the man's muscle. And you can see how it has these stripes on it. Looks like it does something in particular for the body. The brain tissue or nervous tissue looks like the first picture we saw, has these sort of branching arms here. Epithelial or skin tissue looks a little bit more loosely held together. And then connective or bone tissue, which looks like it's maybe more rigid. So let's look at an explanation of each one. Epithelial, so we're thinking about this, is made up of layers of tightly packed cells that line the surfaces of the body. Examples of epithelial tissue include the skin, the lining of the mouth and nose, and the lining of the digestive system. So you can see how skin is similar to what's inside your mouth, similar but different. Connective tissue or bone tissue, so now we're looking at this picture, is made up of many different types of cells that are all involved in supporting and binding other tissues of the body. Examples include tendon, cartilage, and bone. Blood is also classified as a specialized connective tissue. And you can click here for more information on blood, which is really interesting to me. I wouldn't think blood is a tissue. Muscle tissue, so if you look up again at muscles, is made up of bands of cells that contract and allow movement. So you can see they have these bands so that they can move, right? Which is what the muscles help us do. And nervous tissue is made up of nerve cells that sense stimuli and transmit signals. So maybe these little branches help to transmit signals from the brain to the rest of the body. Nervous tissue is found in nerves, the spinal cord, and the brain. The next section is called Groups of Tissues Form Organs. Okay, so last we knew cells form tissues, and in this one we find out tissues form organs. A single tissue alone cannot do all the jobs that are needed to keep you alive and healthy. Two or more tissues working together can do a lot more. An organ is a structure made of 2 or more tissues working together. The heart, figure below, this figure, is made up of the 4 types of tissues. So you can look in the picture and it has it kind of cut out that there's nervous tissue inside the heart that controls the beating of the cardiac muscle. so it gets signals from the brain to beat. Blood vessels are lined with epithelial tissue. That's one that's similar to skin. Connective tissues are found in the walls of the blood vessels. The blood within these vessels is also a type of connective tissue. So we have the vessels. And then the cardiac muscle. So you might have heard that the heart, I know I have, is a big muscle. So there's cardiac muscle tissue that pumps blood out of the heart. The 4 different tissue types work together in the heart as they do in the other organs. So cells form tissues, and groups of tissues form organs. The last section is called Groups of Organs Form Organ Systems. Your heart pumps blood around your body. But how does your heart get blood to and from every cell in your body? Your heart is connected to blood vessels, such as veins and arteries. Organs that work together form an organ system. This is bolded, so we know this is a new term, an organ system. Together, your heart, blood, and blood vessels form your cardiovascular system. And again, these all in green are links, so you can find out more information by clicking on them. What other organ systems can you think of? So I'm thinking, it's asking me a question. What other systems? I know my lungs are part of a system. I know my brain is part of a system. So it's going to tell us a little bit more, I think, about the other types of systems. Organ systems work together. Your body's 12 organ systems are shown below. Table below, down here. Your organ systems do not work alone in your body. They must all be able to work together. For example, one of the most important functions of the organ systems is to provide cells with oxygen and nutrients and to remove toxic waste products such as carbon dioxide. A number of organ systems, including the cardiovascular and respiratory systems, all work together to do this. So let's take a look at this chart. We have the cardiovascular, that's the system. All of these are the systems. And it gives us the major tissues and organs. And then it tells us the function, or what it does. So the cardiovascular is the heart, blood vessels, and blood they talked about earlier, which transports oxygen, hormones, nutrients to the body cells, moves waste and carbon dioxide away from the cells. And we have the lymphatic system, lymph nodes, lymph vessels. They defend against infection and disease, moves lymph between tissues and the bloodstream. Let's think of the ones that I thought of just a second ago. I think I thought of the respiratory system, which has the trachea, your windpipe, the larynx, the pharynx, and the lungs. These tissues and organs bring air to sites where gas exchange can occur between the blood and cells, or blood and air in your lungs. I also thought of the system with the brain, which is called the nervous system. Brain, spinal cord, nerves, collects, transfers, and processes information. And other systems, we can just take a look here and look at ones that are interesting to us. Skeletal with our bones, endocrine with our pituitary glands and all the different glands in our body. So we're going to be learning about one of those that we're interested in next. So take a look and think about one that you might be interested in learning more about so that we can compare it to the immune system, the first one we explored, which has bone marrow, spleen, and you might remember white blood cells. And this helps us defend against diseases like the coronavirus. All right, now at the end of this text, it has a summary. So let's read the summary and just check our understanding. The levels of organization in the human body include, first, cells. Cells make tissues. Tissues make organs. And organs make organ systems. There are 4 types of tissue in the body: epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous. And then there's more to explore too if you're interested in knowing more or clicking on any of the links. Feel free to do that now.